Hey, welcome back everyone for some more of my Venezia career mode here on FIFA 22. And we are here on the 1st of June as we are concluding season number 2. And as you've been following on this season, we've pretty much done the business here in the Serie A, which I know I showed the table towards the end of the last episode, but I'm going to show you guys again. We did, of course, finish first. Not only did we finish first, but we did finish as Centurions. And we could have had an undefeated season had we beat Torino at home, which is actually the second season in a row which Torino beat us at home, which last season that loss prevented us from winning the title, whereas this year the loss prevented us from finishing undefeated. But the most important thing is not only did we win Serie A, but we will be competing in the Champions League once again with Juve. Fiorentina, I gotta give props with, because I didn't think they'd finish as high as what they would. I would be expecting them to finish where Hellas Verona is, which fair play to Hellas Verona as well to getting a Conference League spot. But I'm happy for both those clubs, which as a Venezia player here, I really should not be happy for Hellas Verona, but I have really no issues with them in real life, and I do like their badge. But you can see Napoli missing out on Champions League. They're going to have to settle for Europa League. AC Milan taking the final Champions League spot. But as we go down the table here, hope you guys have an awesome day today. Hope you guys doing well. A lot of big teams hovering around mid-table, like Inter, Atalanta, Lazio, Bologna, who's going to be in the, of course, at the time you guys are seeing this, are competing in the Champions League. They finished comfortably ahead of the relegation zone, but the fact that they're 14th is a little bit of jarring considering the success they had last year. If relegation was a thing in this game, Lecce, Empoli, and Spezia would all be going down. Supercoppa, of course, or Coppa, I should say, beginning of the season, won by us. We beat Napoli, which we ended up playing Napoli 4 times in the span of the month, which, if you guys watched the last episode, you would have seen that. That's just... I will never understand this game and how they do their draws and that, but... Anyway, we started off round of 16. We ended up beating Genoa 2-1. Quarterfinals, we ended up taking care of Udinese 3-0. Semifinals, we ended up beating AC Milan 9-2 on aggregate, and then the final, we ended up beating Napoli to go back-to-back in that competition. Super Cup at the beginning of the season was won by Atletico Madrid over Manchester City in the Julian Alvarez derby. Champions League, I'm going to show you, which Napoli, who ended up knocking us out in the semifinals, ended up beating Manchester City 4-3 on penalties, so fair play to Napoli. But just to recap, we end up finishing with 3 wins, 2 draws, and 1 loss. I will be putting my focus, since last year is the final year of this career mode, I will be putting all my emphasis on the Champions League, considering we've won everything else. We've won the Coppa Italia twice, we've won Serie A, we've won the Supercoppa, which Coppa, I should say. We pretty much, the only thing that we have yet, we also won the Conference League, the only thing we have yet to win is the Champions League, which round of 16 we ended up coming back and winning 7-6 on aggregate, which that was a thrilling game at Anfield. That was something else. And speaking of wild games, which I'll actually talk about that here pretty soon. But you can see quarterfinals, we ended up getting past Lazio 4-3 on aggregate. Semifinals, it looked kind of close, but to ensure that I didn't go through to the Champions League final, because I don't think we're at that point yet, I ended up putting a lot of my youth academy members in the second leg, and of course we ended up dropping the second leg 3-1. But fair play to Napoli for winning the competition. Europa League won by Juve, they beat Leipzig 1-0. And the Conference League, the competition we were in last year, was won by Real Betis over Sparta Prague, which fair play to the Czech side. But we are going to go to leading goal scorers. Castellanos has set a new Serie A record. I don't know why I almost said Bundesliga. 38 goals in 26 matches, which... I'm trying to remember if I played him or Insame, who ended up finishing third with 24 and 23 matches. But I still can't get over just how nuts that Udinese game was that ended up finishing 13-5. And I'm really disappointed in freaking, which I'll talk about here pretty soon, in Maximiano. I'll get to that here in a minute. But you can see Jada finishing with 17. Busio finishing with 11, which fair play to him from this center mid position. Speaking of Busio, he ended up getting the most assists from center mid, but which is fantastic. That usually goes to a winger. Pure with 10, and Same with 9, Jada with 8, Edwards with 7, Duncan with 6, Vertesi and Akçakoglu with 6. And Maximiano ended up getting the most clean sheets with 14, which I'm happy about that, but that game against Udinese, he could not stop anything in that game. Anything. Every single shot that came towards him ended up going in the back of my net, so yeah, he did get the most clean sheets. Yes, I am happy about that, but I'm going to keep my eye on Maximiano, especially if I'm going to be doing sim matches. He was 4 ahead of both Magnan and Bilo on top of the clean sheets did. Yeah, I don't think Dieng got any. I would have been very surprised if he did. Just Super Coppa. And then the Coppa Italia, and Same was leading goal scorer in that competition. You see Duncan in there, Malong, Pure. Most assists goes to Duncan. Again, he was tied with Alfaraj, Lamar, Kramaric, and Malong. You can see Haps with an assist, Gagliardini with an assist. And then clean sheets. Dieng did get the 1 clean sheet. And then we're going to go to the Champions League. That was the other competition we were in. Yeah, I don't think either Dieng or Maximiano got an assist or a clean sheet there. You can see no Venezia player up in the assist leaderboard, though Edwards did end up getting 6, which is 3 behind Vinicius Jr. and Insigne and Lewandowski. But you can see Vertesi managed to get himself 5. And that's pretty much it. But yeah, Castellanos and Insame with a combined 62 goals in Serie A. That is definitely a big reason why we finished as strong in the Serie A table as what we did. But even though it says we made a profit of 166 million, don't forget it's a profit margin. So you gotta get profit, and then you also have to consider expenses as well. And you take profit minus expenses, you only get 50 million. Around, let's see math. Actually, it's not even 50 million, it's closer to 47 million that we actually made of a profit margin. And I am going to have to renew some contracts here soon off camera before I start the next season, which, like I said, is the... Oh, we did finish the season with a profit. Okay. I don't know why it's not checked off. But you can see we got both of the youth development ones. We end up getting a clean sheet off camera. Yeah, we did end up getting, so, yeah, forget what I said about the whole profit margin thing. Which, it didn't show that before, before I simmed. As a matter of fact, when I looked at it, it was right after the Champions League final, and it showed I did not meet that objective. And I didn't look at it again since I went to June 1st, but yeah, we did manage to get that, so, if anything, I won't renew contracts until sometime beginning of next season. Because of that. I don't want to screw up that objective now. Because if I end up getting that objective, I am going to go ahead. That should give us more money in the transfer budget, which I'll talk about more about it whenever I get to the squad stats and all that. Of course, domestic success, we end up getting the domestic double. And not only did we reach the quarterfinal, but we reached the semifinal, which was further than what I was expecting to, but I'm certainly not going to complain about that. Youth Academy, I promoted everybody, so there's no point showing that. transfer history, I'm just going to go and you can see the only thing we did in January was send Guerrero out on loan and De Silva out on loan. But all these other ones you've seen. As I'm just going to go through the transfers that I've made. I know I've already, which I'll talk about the short list here in a minute, but actually I'll talk about that towards the end of the video. But again, Danso plus 42 for Bremer, Holtz, 7 million plus Kasha, and Sama ended up getting and paying 9 million plus Suzuki. Gagliardini, I just paid a straight 8.4, which was a bargain considering his market value was 12 million. So I actually was gonna do an exchange. It was initially 8.4 plus Martinez, but they dropped Martinez and kept the 8.4. I'm like, okay. I'm not going to argue about that. And of course, DeSiglio was a free agent signing as well as De Silva. But we are going to take a look at the starting and backup squads here real quick. Front three looks good. Midfield mostly looks good. And the back line mostly looks good. But we are going to go ahead and get in the squad hub. And of course we're going to do end of season stuff. 46 goals, 8 assists. The Castellanos, he is up to an 82. At the pace he's going with his growth, I do expect him to get close to an 85 towards the end of next season. So he is definitely going to still be my main guy. And Same, despite having one of the worst first touches of any player I've ever managed in any FIFA career mode, he did manage to get himself 34 goals and 10 assists in 30 appearances. He did grow by one. So I will, despite him annoying me a lot of times, I will keep in Same. Jada, 20 and 9 through 34, I'm going to go ahead. He will be most likely be the winger I keep. Marcus Edwards grew by a couple. He is an 85, 60, 11 through 39. Bustio is my captain. He should reach an 85 before the end of next season. I've been very thrilled with him. For Tessie, he's grown by a couple. He should be around the 85 mark next season. He'll keep on playing alongside for Tessie. Malong, excellent center mid. He and Duncan both I plan on keeping. Malong did grow by one. He is now at a 77. Pure, excellent, but he is 31 years of age. I do plan on moving him on and getting a new winger if I can, whether it be the free agent market or something. Of course, that's also going to depend on what kind of budget I have. Actor Koglu, of course, my highest rated player in 87, 7 and 9 through 32. Though that's kind of an off year compared to what he had last year, but hopefully he can pick it up next year. Duncan, 76. I have no plans on getting rid of him. He's been absolutely consistent for me. Alex Krall. Now, thing with this guy. You know how, for those of you who are familiar with Jared HD, whenever he had his older rebuilds, you know how he said, don't get butthurt if I sell your favorite player? Well, unfortunately, I am considering letting go of Alex Krall. He has not put a foot wrong for me. He's got 5 and 6 through 41 appearances in CDM position. That is terrific, but the fact that he is only an 80 rating, and we are going to be going into next season as the reigning domestic double champions, as well as being Champions League semifinals, I'm going to have to put somebody else in that CDM position. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. So, I thought about getting rid of Gagliardini, but I mean, I still could, but Krall looks like he could be on his way out. And the reason why I say that is because if I bring in a new CDM and keep Krall, I have a feeling Krall is going to be complaining about game time since he is crucial squad role. So, Kornienko, he's in the same position as Krall. Hasn't put a foot wrong, but if he is only at an 80 rating, I am going to be looking at bringing in a new left back. I am keeping Haps. He is one of the originals. Despite him being irritating in sim matches as far as not making bad passes and not correctly marking his guys, I am going to keep Haps just because he is an original. So Kornienko will most likely be on his way out next season. Gagliardini, I'm most likely keeping him despite him being 20. He is going to be turning 30 next season, but next season is going to be the last. Same with Haps, he is going to be approaching 30 years of age, but he is at a 78. I think about Haps is, despite him being irritating in sim matches, he has not put a foot wrong when I actually play him. As a matter of fact, he's actually been fantastic. He's actually been better for me in that left back position where Kornienko has been when I actually play a game. So, DeSiglio, I'm going to go ahead and hang on to him. He's been solid as a backup right back. You can see some of our players out on loan. Radon is now at a 70, which is fantastic. You can see a lot of players. Romeo grew by 6 he's at a 68, so that's good to see. De Silva already grew by. When I sent him out on loan, he was at a 71. He's already grown by a couple more, so he's at a 73. Berta, I will most likely be moving him on and getting a new backup center back to go alongside Holtz. Of course, Rennie, I played the Champions League second leg match. Same with Henderson. Bianco, I ended up playing him a game in the Champions League. Moretti, I put in there. Guerra, I also put him in there. Good growth. Ferrero's already grown by 7. He's at a 64. Dieng, I'll be looking to move him on. I want somebody that's closer to the 80 ranking in terms of a backup goalkeeper, so he'll be on his way out. Holt, I'm hanging on to. He's been a good backup center back. Bellardi, hanging on to him. He should be knocking on the door of 85 next year. Bremer should be at that point next year. Bremer and Bellardi have been fantastic in that center back position. Speaking of fantastic, Sugarera, despite only growing by 1, been absolutely fantastic. Managed to get himself a trio of assists as well as 8 clean sheets. So hopefully he'll start growing again next season. But he's been absolutely incredible for me in that right back position. Even if he does not grow at all next season, I do want to hang on to him because he's been one of the best players in this career mode so far. Maximiano, 14 clean sheets in 45, but I do have to watch him in some matches because, like I said, that Udinese match that finished 13-5, that was absolutely ludicrous and ridiculous that he conceded every single shot that he faced. So that is something to be mindful going into next season. But we are going to be looking at development plans here. If there's anybody in particular you want to look at, you can just go ahead and pause the video. I am going to be double checking development plans. Let's go ahead and do that. And then you can see our wide backs. Like I said, I'm going to be replacing Kornienko because 80 rating just is not going to cut it for a Champions League left back. Oh, wait. What am I doing? Okay, let's look at these plans. Okay, Bremer is good as a sweeper. Okay, let's see. Bellardi is good as a sweeper. Okay, 54 weeks as a sweeper, I'll put that on him. Even if it takes all next season for him to get 79, I don't care. Berta, I'm gonna let him go because his rating is just too low for my liking. Like I said, Sugawara has been awesome. Same with DeSiglio. Crawl just is not growing for me. I mean, yeah, it's going to take him 9 weeks and okay to reach an 81, but I'm going to need somebody close to that 84, 85 rating in order to take me to that next level next season in the Champions League. Let's see, Gagliardini, looks like it's going to take him 12 weeks to get to a 79, what was it? Yeah. Take him 12 weeks to reach a 79. Okay, looks like it's going to be 26 on good form, the box, but for Tessie to reach an 83. Okay, 30 weeks it looks like on okay form for Busio. I'll take that for him to reach an 84. Malong. Even if he doesn't grow anymore, 77, I'm happy. Okay, Duncan looks like he's going to grow by a bit, so I'm going to go ahead and... Okay, let's see if we can improve his weak foot. But yeah, I don't plan on getting any backup center mids. You can see Akatoglu, bit of an off season, but managed to get to an 87. He is our highest rated player. Pure, I'll be looking to move him on next year. A 76-year-old, a 76 rated 31-year-old just is not going to cut it. Whereas a 24-year-old 76 rated, I can still work with that. So I'm going to be keeping Jada and most likely letting go of Pure. See, Marcus Edwards only grew by a couple, but one of the most consistent players on this team. Could not ask for more out of him. And Same, terrible first touch, but he is a decent backup. He does respond when I do need him, so I am going to hang on to him for a bit. He may reach a 79 at the end of next season, but even if he doesn't, I'm fine with that. Looks like it's going to take Castellanos 10 weeks on excellent form in order for him to reach a 83, so... Yeah, Castellanos should have pretty good upside in terms of his potential. But as far as what I plan on doing in terms of transfers next season, first and foremost, I do want a new starting CDM and I do want a new starting left back. That's going to be priority above anything else. And depending on what I have left over, I will be looking at a new backup goalkeeper, a new backup center back, and a new backup winger. But those are going to be the 5 positions. Like I said, the most important two. If I don't do anything else next season, in terms of transfers, I definitely have to get a new starting CDM and a new starting left back, which I will get to the short list like I said I was going to. I do have 2 here, as you can see. I have Scott McTominay, who's an 84 rating. 26 years old, so he has several seasons left him. He is a team player, which is awesome, and he does have the long shot taker trait. But I also have Yves Bissouma here from Brighton and Hove Albion, which I'm actually leaning towards Bissouma. And you see, he's a well-rounded CDM. He has the power free kick trait, flare trait, and long shot trait. So I am leaning towards Bissouma. As you can see, McTominay is going to cost anywhere between 48.6 and 66.9, whereas Bissouma is going to be... Actually, Bassuma's a bit more expensive, and he does have a release clause. But I'm thinking I can get him somewhere around the $66 million mark. And we should have a good chunk of change. We should be well over $100 million in terms of transfer budget next year. So that will, and if I put Kroll in the deal, I should be able to spend even less. Or even Gagliardini, which, like I said, I am leaning towards Kroll. Like I said, he has not put a foot wrong, but an 80-rated CDM in the Champions League is not going to cut it. Now, there were several left backs that are around the 85 rating. Cucurella was one of them, but I wanted somebody that I haven't bought before in a career mode. And the only one that I could find that has a somewhat decent rating is Renan Lodi, of course, plays for Atletico Madrid. Very well-rounded left back. It's going to cost us anywhere between 58.1 and 79.7. He does have a release clause, but I'm figuring I should be getting him at around the 68 million mark, depending on whether or not I can throw Kornienko in that deal. But I'm looking at around between 130 and 135 million it's going to take. That's without the exchange players. If I pay straight cash for both Lodi and Bissouma, I'm looking at anywhere between 130 and 135 million that I'm going to have at least in order to secure the services of these two. And that's not counting the backup players that I do want to get, which I will be looking at the free agent market to see if there's anybody there in terms of backup players that I can get for those positions. But that's pretty much it for this video and this conclusion of season 2. Trying to think if there's anything else I want to say. I really don't want to ramble anymore. We are at the 25-minute mark. But yeah, we will be going into the third and final season as domestic double champions. We won the Serie A and the Coppa Italia. And we will be competing in the Champions League once again. And we will be winning. I do want to win everything next season, including the Champions League. And I will be putting most of my emphasis in the Champions League next season, which, of course, I'll be doing my beginning video. I'll be doing my start of Season 3 at around July 4th. I'll probably be having an Italian Super Coppa game somewhere around here. And the episode after my Season 3 intro probably will be at the first Champions League game. Whoever we get drawn up with. So, hope you guys are looking forward to Season 3 as much as I am looking forward to it. Hope you guys are getting excited about the conclusion of this career mode as we enter the third and final season, where I hope to not only continue winning the domestic double, but also become kings of Europe by winning the Champions League. But thank you guys so much for watching this. Hope you guys are enjoying this series so far. I'll be seeing you guys again next time.